Россия ведет себя как страна-террорист, а Украина должна получить новый формат сотрудничества с НАТО.
Russia is a terrorist country, and Ukraine should receive a new format of cooperation with NATO. These are the first results of the informal meeting of NATO Foreign Ministers, which took place in Oslo. The meeting participants paid tribute to the victims of the July 22nd terrorist attack on the island of Utøya, when the terrorist Anders Breivik killed 77 people on the basis of hatred. Then it was the act of a lone criminal. Representatives believe that now the whole country is committing the same crimes.
There is a line between Utøya and Ukraine, between a brutal act of terrorism and an illegal war of aggression. The values attacked then are the ones attacked now. Democracy, freedom, diversity of thought, of opinion, of belief.
For NATO, aid to Ukraine is not just support for a country that has been subjected to aggression. This is the protection of those values that are threatened by terrorists around the world.
We will not let authoritarian states break down the rules-based international order. We will support Ukraine for as long as it takes. And we will not let terrorists crush our free and open societies. We will stand united to protect our values and our people.
Главный день неформальной встречи – это 1 июня. На повестке дня вопрос…
On the agenda is the issue of protecting the world order. This can only be done together. Now Ukraine is at the forefront of this struggle, but so far it is not a member of NATO. Allies understand that this state of uncertainty over the timing of Ukraine's entry into the alliance cannot last forever. Croatian foreign minister revealed some details of the talks. The discussion will also touch on the new format of relations between Ukraine and NATO. That is what Ukraine has been striving for so long and persistently.
I am especially glad that we are in the process of forming the new and more efficient format of cooperation with Ukraine, which will hopefully be agreed until upcoming Vilnius summit in July.
In order to prevent authoritarian countries from dictating their terms, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg calls for an increase in defense spending of at least 2% of GDP.
And our support to Ukraine will be one of the main issues to be addressed at the meeting today. How to sustain and step up support, but also how to address Ukraine's membership aspirations for NATO. And I like to underline that all allies agree that NATO's door is open, as we have demonstrated with Finland and Sweden. And all allies agree that Ukraine will become a member of the alliance, and all allies agree that it is for the NATO allies and Ukraine to decide when the time is right. It's not for Moscow to decide on NATO enlargement.
US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also takes part in the meeting. Finland has already become a member of NATO, and Sweden should soon become one. So the region is in the zone of special attention of the United States. Russian aggression can be expected anywhere, but so far the main threat of operations is in Ukraine.
We have an intense focus on the support that we're continuing to provide to Ukraine to make sure that it prevails against the Russian aggression that's now been going on for well over a year.
Ukraine is the most important topic of negotiations, but not the only one. Allies believe that Moscow is undermining stability in other parts of the Euro-Atlantic region as well.
I think we are more united than ever, and we have to put forward our discussion how we can increase our assistance to Ukraine during this meeting. From a Norwegian point of view, we will also like to stress the importance of our military presence in the High North to follow Russian military activity, and also look after the oil and gas installation at sea, because energy security is getting much more important right now.
The main results of the meeting are the announcement of the creation of a new format for Ukraine's relations with NATO and the discussion on the topic of security guarantees for Ukraine after the end of the war.
Our focus today was on how we can bring Ukraine closer to NATO, where it belongs. NATO is already providing unprecedented assistance. I'm confident that Ukrainian forces now have the capabilities they need to liberate more occupied land. But we need to do more. We are working on a multi-year package of support with robust funding. We also discussed upgrading the existing NATO-Ukraine Commission to a new NATO-Ukraine Council. This would be a significant step to establish a joint consultative forum with Ukraine, sitting at the table as equals.
С каждой встречей министров
With each meeting of ministers of NATO countries, Ukraine is getting closer to obtaining an equal status in this organization. Reported by Vitaliy Syzov, UATV News.